Welcome to the Miracle You, guiding you on the journey towards finding passion and purpose and how to discover, create, and live a life by your design. Whether your success has been plentiful or your missed opportunities have been overwhelming, we can help you become a more empowered, masterful person and show you how to share your gift with the world. It's time to inspire change from within with the host of the Miracle You, Vince Kramer.
Hello, imagination. I'm Vince Kramer, your host, and welcome to the Miracle You, where you learn about the magic of living your life by finding the example in real life. I talk a lot about how important it is for each of us to know why we're here on this earth. We've all experienced things differently than everyone else. We've experienced our parents, where we grew up, the schools that we went to, the circumstances that we created. In many ways, we could look at these things in our lives and say that we're different. But one of the things that I want to really express today is the fact that we are all the same in so many ways. We're just unique. We want to be loved. We want to be appreciated. We want to be able to be the light that we're meant to be. We want to make a difference in people's lives. We want to make a difference in our own lives. And as we move forward in expressing ourselves and expressing our gifts and talents through our example, we can truly make that difference. We can see that we're worthy of love. We can see that we're worthy of being appreciated. And in loving and appreciating ourselves, we attract that into our lives. I'm with Anthony Muiruri today. Anthony was born and grew up in a village in Kenya, a place where you had to work with your hands in the garden to put food on the table. Early on in life, he learned many lessons from experiences of watching and interacting with people as he grew up. He uses these lessons to inspire and motivate people, especially the youth, through his talks. One of the big lessons he stresses is the virtue of goodness. He has recently authored a book, Be Good for Good. Anthony, are you ready to share the miracle of you with the imagination?
Oh, yeah, sure, Vince. I'm ready.
I'm so excited to have you here, and we're completely on the other side of the world right now. I'm in Colorado Springs, Colorado. You're over in Athens, Greece. It's exciting that we have the opportunity to share worldwide on these podcasts, thanks to all the technology. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, sure, it is. It is. Now the world has become smaller than we knew it before.
So this is a perfect opportunity to share about you and what you're doing in the world. Could you tell us a little bit more than the bio gave us?
Yeah, thank you very much, Vince, for this question. As the bio introduced, I'm a motivational speaker, and I like inspiring people to live to be the best version of themselves. And this is something that came up as I was growing up, and I experienced things in my life as I went through the garden, getting food for me and looking after the cattle in our house, in our homestead, and the neighbors. And then I got lessons as I was growing up. So these lessons is what I've come back now to give back to those who are coming up as young as they are, in order that they may also face life positively the way I've faced up to this point.
You know, it's amazing, and I want to talk a little bit about this after we hear the wake-up call that you had, but it's amazing how different we all grow up and how different our experiences are,
yeah,
but how we're so much the same. So I'm going to ask you about that after you tell us what it was that woke you up to who you are and what you're meant to be in the world, and what motivated you to step out to be a motivator.
I would say the wake-up call came at a point in life when I was, finishing my high school, and I got to read. By that time, the internet was just starting to become available, because it wasn't all available to the people when I was much younger, when I was in primary school, that like it's available to the kids these days. So I got to read one poem that became a wake-up call for me. And this poem is by Edgar A. Guest. It's called The Equipment. And I realized that the life I've lived and the life I can live, it's all within my hands. And I can be just like any other person, living life positively, even when I see things happening negatively around me. The poem called The Equipment goes like this: figure it out for yourself, my lad. You've all that the greatest of men have had: 2 hands, 2 arms, 2 eyes, and a brain to use if you would be wise. With this equipment, they all began. So start for the top and say, I can. So from that point on, I started to see the world in a different perspective. And I decided that, yes, I'm going to be a person that is going to be an image that can inspire other people and give them a hope and show them the direction that I believe is the right direction in my perspective anyway.
On that journey, Anthony, as you know, you, what we would call, had a conscious wake up with that poem that there is more available, and I have the ability to get that. Was there other things along your journey that helped you move even stronger onto that path?
Oh yeah, sure. In life, I would say that relationships matter very much, and especially the relationships you have in your family and the close contacts that you have as you're growing up. And these really affected my life. I grew up in a good, supportive family that made sure that I had the great lessons as I am growing up. So this really helped. And it gave me a point to focus on as I am moving on, even as I am believing in myself. And other people are believing in my ability and showing me the way ahead. So relationships were a big help to me, even as I got that wake-up call.
Your relationships were very supportive, it sounds like. Was there times that you ran into people who were negative that formed a roadblock for you? And if you did, how did you deal with that?
I would say, like I talk in my book of saying how I grew up. I came up in a village, or where I was born is a village that was not so much exposed to the external world. It's a village where I believed that everything was good. And we had good neighbors, we had good parents, and everything was going on well. But then as I continued to grow up, I discovered that the world is not as always as everyone would think at that early age. And that happened once when I woke up and got one of our goats had been stolen. So we had to go and look for it up and down the valleys, and we didn't find it. The thief had gone with it. Now, at that point, you could start thinking, what am I supposed to do with this thief if I get hold of him? And then you discover that revenge will not be the good thing, because if you take an eye for an eye, everyone in the world is going to end up blind. And yes, I've met along the way people that have been bad, have been negative, have affected me and other people negatively. But then you've got to remember that you are the positive force in this world. You are the light. And so you've got to know how to face it positively and live positively with others.
Would you say your experience as you were growing up was a great example of how most grew up in Kenya, or were you in a situation that was just super supportive for you?
I would say, as you can remember, I mentioned about the world of our village, not so exposed to the external world. And so the parents being supportive, the neighbors being supportive, this was a big plus. And you not being exposed to the bigger evils that are existing out there in the world, I would say that was quite supportive in my growing up. And one thing that I used to observe when I was growing up, I say about this, is that a child in the village was not a family child. It was a society child. So if you went on the road and you did something bad, you are liable to be punished by the first person that is going to come into contact with you if you are doing wrong. And so from the parents, from the society that was closely knit in that village as I was growing up, this was quite a big plus in their upbringing, and in many other villages in Kenya and in Africa, and I believe in many other worlds where evil was not as prevalent as it seems today.
And one of the things with Imagine Miracles that's really important for us is to help us see that it doesn't take a family, it doesn't take a village, it takes the world.
Yeah.
For us to come together and truly support each other, like your village supported you and like your village supported your family in your growing up. So I kind of alluded to it earlier. It's so true. Mary and I have traveled the world. We've had dinner in many different people's houses, different religions, different countries. And we found that everybody's the same. Everybody's working towards the same things. Everybody wants the same things for themselves. Could you speak to that?
Oh, yeah, sure. I could say to that positively. I could say positive things about that. You see, I'm also a traveled person right now. I am right now in Athens, Greece, all the way from Kenya. And I discover that each and every person that you come into contact with has that need to be loved and appreciated. So it doesn't matter whether you are eating ugali, which is a basic food, staple food in Kenya, or you are eating souvlaki, something that we eat in Athens, Greece, or you are walking on foot, barefoot, like I was walking in the village as I was growing up, or you are driving in a Mercedes going to school. Each and every one of us have that desire to be appreciated and respected. So it's not about the physical things, it's the desire to be appreciated and loved and encouraged as we are growing up and as we are living our own life. So basically, the needs are almost the same.
Would you say, Anthony, that being loved and appreciated is an inside job at first?
In your podcast, I've heard that you reflect what you are. So I would say being loved and appreciated is, as you say, an inside job. And in my movement, in my travels, I've discovered that you're going to receive what you give out. And you meet with a lot of people who are talking about the evil in the world, yes, and bad neighborhood, yes. There is that bad neighborhood. But then I've gone to neighborhoods where that word has been bad. The bad neighborhood have been, the word bad has been flowing from the mouths of people. And going into that neighborhood, I decided to be good and I act good, I speak good. And I discovered that the people that have been identified as the people, as the bad people, are actually very good, loving people. So what happened is what was inside, I gave out, and I got back what I gave out.
Exactly. So powerful. Let me ask you this. Could you tell us what's in Be Good for Good?
Oh, that's a good question. So as you mean the book, isn't it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the book. So as I said, my book starts, okay, the introduction talks of how I find myself in Athens, Greece, going places, as I say. But then I reflect back and I say, I didn't find myself here just by chance. It's something that has happened in me. Maybe it's a miracle, we would say, but that miracle comes from within. And inside the Be Good for Good, we have topics like, I'm going to give you a few topics we have. The Yes You Can talks about, yes, it's possible for you to do what your heart purposes to do. If it purposes to be good, then it's possible for you to be. And it talks about beginning good. I will read a few of the chapters, that beginning good. Because, if you don't take care of the young tree as it's sprouting from the from the ground and you show it the direction that it needs to go, then it may grow crooked. And I'm referring this to the human child, that once he's growing up and you don't show him or her the right direction, then he's going to go into the wrong direction. And so you have to go to begin good. And the other ones, without explaining them, is start the earliest, and then fruits of time, which you get to enjoy when you are patient. And there is pruning time. I mean, it's all about being good and things that support this virtue of goodness, that reminds you to be good. The experiences that you're going to face along the way, the challenges that you're going to meet, it gives you some of the challenges that you meet as you're growing up, as you're living your life, chasing after your dreams, and how even through the challenges, you still remain to be whom you were meant to be, living your purpose and living to be the good person that you are.
Well, let me ask you this, a perfect lead into my next question here. What would you say your purpose is in life? What difference are you here to make?
I would say the purpose in my life, as I have come to discover that we can speak, yes, as a motivational speaker, I can speak as someone who advises people, you can advise people, or any other person can teach people. But the purpose, if you are living those words that you're speaking, that's your purpose. And people are going to follow your actions more than the words that you're speaking. So my purpose is to live a life that will lead others into the right direction, into doing good, into living good, into thinking positive, and achieving good neighborhoods and good societies, good institutions. So as I live that, as I grow to be a light to others, the light that have been bestowed upon me by my Creator, then that's fulfilling the purpose that I'm here to show a light as I have been shown the light before.
I think you described it so well. We're really here to be the example. And if we can be the example of our message, then our message, when we're sharing it, is keeping the brain busy as the heart and the body absorb the example of you. So, and I can tell just by looking at you and how enthusiastic you share your message, that you're on track with your purpose, and you're really here to help people see good and be good. So that's so powerful in what you shared there. So as you're giving your motivational speeches and you're giving them to children, what's the most important message that you share for children?
I would say that the baseline of my motivational speeches are someone living to be the best version of themselves. And the fact is, we are not all the same, and we don't end up to be, even as we become the light of those that are watching us, we are going to go into different directions. And I mean career-wise, some are going to be teachers, some are going to be drivers, some are going to be cooks and chefs, some are going to be pilots flying the planes, and some are going to be doctors. Now, in every direction that someone chooses to go, what they should have in their mind is that this path, this road that I have chosen to follow, I should be the best light, the best direction to anybody that is following me. So being the best version of yourself is usually the baseline of my messages. And that's where you find goodness inside, and many other things that some of them are shared in my book.
One of the interesting things with what you just shared, being the best version of yourself. And then you mentioned, different occupations, different ways to bring your gifts to the world. What we find, especially in the US, but I also know in Europe also, there's a belief that you have to hold a certain kind of job. You have to go to college to be able to deliver the best you. Can you share your thoughts on that?
I tend to think, and everybody is going to be to agree with me, as long as you were born a man or a woman, and you're walking on this face of the earth, you are as important as any other person that you're going to find along your path. Now, whether that person is a janitor, as they are known in the US, or you are a teacher, a CEO, an employee who maybe not even a degree holder, is just someone that prepares tea for you. Whomever you are as important as any other person in that organization, that company, that institution. You're just as important as all the other people. So I need not to respect someone, and sorry to say that, so much more than the person that is sweeping the ground. Just because you are a CEO, just because you hold a degree, and I'm going to go into another sensitive area that could affect many of my look. Just because you are of a different color or a different race, it doesn't mean that someone is more important than the other. We are all human beings, and we can grow together, help each other, bond together, and create a synergy going in the positive direction. So it's not a matter of how many degrees you've got now, or I have got, that I say I'm bigger, I'm better than you, I'm bigger than you. No, we are all human beings, and we are quite as okay with any other, as any other person that you're going to meet along the way.
That's a very powerful message that you just shared there. What other messages do you share in your talks?
Basically, these are the messages. And I know, even as you are saying, that a person can come and become the person, the best version of themselves, and telling them, yes, you can. And someone is gonna, and when I share the poem and I say, if you've got 2 hands, 2 eyes, 2 legs, and someone is going to come and say, hey, Anthony, now you're telling me that, yes, I can. And I don't have the equipments that you're talking about. But I say, we've got people who are achieving great things in this earth without the equipments that maybe I've mentioned, or the equipments that you may be thinking that you're lacking, but they are moving on. They are being good people. They are achieving things in their own life. And I like using this example. I mainly focus on this area of being the best version of yourself, whether you have the equipments or not. I like using this example of one boy that was born in Sydney, Australia, some years back, 30 years back. And this boy was born without legs or arms. So you would imagine that today you will find him in the streets of Australia, a town in Australia, with a ball in his hand, begging. No, he doesn't have hands. A ball before him, waiting for a loose change. But this boy is moving around the world and motivating, inspiring people with his messages. If you may not know that guy, his name is Nick Vujicic, and he's doing wonders. And just for the fact that he doesn't have hands, he doesn't have legs, that does not prevent him from doing things in his life that some of us have never done. Some of us in our middle ages have never known how to swim. Nick is a very good swimmer. Some of us have never touched a golf club. He somehow goes into the golf club and uses whatever part of his body that he can use to try and hit it. It may not go far, but he's making an attempt. So it's not a matter of what you're lacking. It's a matter of what you have, and you can use this. You can use it to be the miracle that the world is waiting you to be.
And I think the world for sure is looking for each and every one of us to bring our miracle to the world. Let me ask you, Anthony, what is the thing that you want everyone to take away from this podcast?
What I would ask someone to go reminding himself or herself is that the world is waiting for you to be an example. And it doesn't matter what you're meeting along the way. It doesn't matter what you have or may not have. What matters is what is within you that you can bring out and make a change, a positive change to the world around you. And it's possible. Yes, you can be the best version of yourself and be the light that other people want to see in order to be better people by themselves.
What an awesome message. Anthony, could you share how people can get in touch with you and maybe have you come speak for their organizations?
Oh, yes. If you go to anthonymuiruri.com, and I'm going to spell that because sometimes it's hard for people. It's ANTHONYMUIRURI.com. You go to my website that has all my social handles, Facebook, Instagram, name it. And if you still did not get that, you can always put a hashtag be good for good, and you'll find me all over the internet. Hashtag be good for good.
Make sure all that information is available on Anthony's show page. Just go to themiracleu.com. That information will be available to you. Anthony, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with us. Thank you for the message that you're bringing to the world. And thank you for the light that you are.
I really appreciate it. It's my great honor that you've called me to your podcast. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. On behalf of my wife and business partner, Mary, the entire team here at Imagine Miracles, we want to wish each and every one of you a miracle day.
You've completed this episode of The Miracle You, but we have plenty more to help you discover your own personal passion and purpose. Head over to themiracleu.com for free resources to assist you on your journey, as well as register for our free webinar, Discover Your Miracle Life, 3 Mind Awakening Steps Toward Your Unique Purpose, or apply for a one-on-one Your Life, Your Way breakthrough session and discover your next best step on your journey. All available exclusively on our website. That's themiracleu.com. We look forward to sharing more experiences of passion, purpose, and life by design next time, right here on The Miracle You.